Alright, how's it going everyone? We're going to be getting started pretty soon here. We've got map bands getting finished up here with these two teams. But hey, we're back. It's another cast. Uh, we're on week 2. Doing pretty well so far. This is another Division 2 match. I swear I'm not just picking Division 2 matches because I'm in Div 2. This they just happen to be lining up for the best times. And so yeah, we've got a Zombie Eradication squad on the right side, Murky on the left side. So that's going to be hopefully pretty fun. Last few map bands are getting finished up here. I'm just making sure I have everything. But if we go ahead, we can start off by taking a look at the standings. So obviously so far we're only at the second week. So each of these teams has only played one match, so this isn't anywhere near final standing. Right now, Murky Cult sitting at number 9, they're 1-0. Their first week match 2-1, so they did drop one map. They did take the win. Zombie Eradication squad, however, they unfortunately lost their first week matchup, so currently 0-2 and 1 overall. So hoping to pick up their first game here tonight. I understand, again, I believe these are two newer teams. Alright, got our last map ban in. And I have been invited to a lobby. Perfect. So, with that, let's go ahead and look at our maps. So, from the side of the Zombie Eradication squad, we saw Sky Temple, Garden of Terror get bammed out. The coin flip decided that they would pick the first side of Murky Cult. First pick, Murky Cult banned out Cursed Hollow and Volsky Foundry, and the Zombie Eradication squad taken us to Battlefield of Eternity, and I just realized that I hadn't updated it because my brain is enormous. I'm great at Alright. Got one team in here, waiting on the other team now. Make sure we have teams on the right sides. Wonderful. Sure, I've got my boom. Alright. Yeah, so hopefully this will be a fun one. Obviously, I always would love for these to go 3 maps. Unfortunately, when we are this early in this, it's hard to kind of tell where. So we'll have to see how this one turns out. Could hopefully be getting started here on our first match any moment. Both of our teams are in. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. Starting off on Battlefield of Eternity, that is a map that is very much focused around the micro perspective. There is a little bit of macro play. Thank you for the follow there from good old Dr. Evil coming through. Appreciate it. And we are into our draft. So yeah, like I said, this is focusing mostly around team fight. You're going to have that objective phase, which is really nice and long, sitting in the middle. You're looking at having good sustained damage to take down the objective, but also strong team fights. Force the enemy team off of your immortal, or force onto the enemy team's winning team fights to enable yourself to get the objective and push down the lane. So as far as bans go, right now we still might see some quote-unquote meta bans, stuff like Deathwing, but also we're going to see kind of bans more towards the map or more towards preference. So here we're going to see Sylvanas banned out. Makes sense. She's pretty good at racing, but great at pushing with the framing banned out. He's awesome at quick Johanna ban. She's just overall a solid tank, and the blinds can help her team to get ahead in the race a lot. Something that is very underrated. As Johanna, you can go ahead, really stall out the race. Walk up and blind them once or twice while each team is trading onto the... We're going to have the final ban here coming out from the zombie eradication. They're going to ban Artana. Something that you don't see picked a ton, but which some would argue is strong on this map, as he does have quite a bit of race thanks to amateur opponent, the talent at level 1. They're going to see Uther picked up here, whether that's heal Uther or main tank Uther or even offlane Uther. It's yet to be seen. Or double support Uther. Really, he could fill any role here. But he's definitely a hero who's, as you can tell, he's pretty variable. He can fit into a number of comps. And we're going to have Malfurion and Vala. Going so fast here, trying to just keep up with filling in my info here. So we are seeing a double support comp, looks like, from the blue team side of the Abba Murky cult. It'll be interesting to see if the Uther ends up being a tank, just goes in, eats up as much damage as he can, and then dies and heals up his team. Sorry if the mic is cutting out a bit. Hopefully that shouldn't continue. It might be because I'm kind of waving in front of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's a double support with the Vala carrying the damage, or what we're going to see there. Then Diablo and Ana, I like the Li Ming ban. That really denies probably the most powerful potential nano target that could go for the side of the red team. He gives a lot of great poke onto the Immortal, completely dominant in team fights thanks to the nano boost. We did see an EC ban from the red team trying to take him out. He's a very, very easy variable tank or offlaner.
Vanquish the weak.
Definitely, Uther main tank is pretty popular, although he has somewhat fallen down in priority. We're going to see Raynor, makes sense. He got a huge buff recently, especially to the Exterminator talent, which before was kind of questionable because of how much it took away from your team fight, losing the ace and the whole value, but now it is so strong that it is worth taking it just for the race. And then Jaina, just another all-around solid, pretty easy to play hero. We're going to see Kerrigan and Malthael, so in extremely aggressive composition here for the Abba Murky cult. Abathur? Yeah, Abba Murky cult. That's what it is. I know this. And then we are going to see Sonya. So some heroes that maybe wasn't quite expecting. Kerrigan and Sonya, both known more for being strong on Infernal Shrines, but I think they can both get a lot of value here. Going to be looking on the red team to really, or on the blue team to be really aggressive in fights and jump onto backline or even onto the Diablo thanks to Malthael, just completely blow people up. So from the other side, we have really just a solid team fight comp. Diablo be pretty aggressive, either get a pick for the red team or just kind of do what he wants to do and hover around, peel for his team so that the nano boosted Jaina, the Raynor, can win in the sustained fight against the blue team. That being said, blue team does have a double support there, so that can help them out a little. Sustain. So it'll be interesting to see. I think right now the burden of execution is definitely a lot higher for the blue. They're going to have to play their composition a lot stronger to be able to get quite as much value. But if they're able to pull it out, I think it could definitely be very effective as the draft of the... Alright. Going to be going ahead and getting into the first map here of this matchup. On the left side we have Jobber on the Kerrigan, Maginee on Malfurion, Gore Monster on Vala, Hellfire on Uther, and Creeper's bot on Malthael playing for the Abba Murky cult. And on the other side for the zombie Eradication squad, we have Oreos on Anna, Cheer on Raynor, Lawlins on Diablo, Lean and Clean on Jaina, up in the offlane, the Blatrix on Sonya. Going ahead and starting here, it looks like talents are mostly normal. One interesting thing is the auto attack talent there for Uther. Don't normally see that picked up a lot for main tank Uther because he is relatively squishy, especially just recently got nerfed, so you don't really see him often sitting there just trading auto attacks in, but he decided to go for it here. Diablo going ahead for the Devil's Due there, so hoping to get value off of the globes in the lane, but right now he has no souls and he is squishy, and a great root from the Malfurion completely zoned him out as he was looking for an aggression onto Uther. He's going to be first blood in favor of the Abba Murky cult. So we can go ahead and check into the offlane right now. Creeper's doing a great job on the Malthael of zoning out the Sonya, really using the minion wave to outtrade her. That is going to be something that will be a bit of a struggle for Sonya. Malthael is known for being a powerful offlaner, trades very well into most other offlaners, which lets him pretty easily win most laning matchups. Another thing that is interesting is the tough as nails here for Sonya, looking for the block there onto some of the powerful auto attacks from heroes such as Vala and also Kerrigan. Ooh, Jaina barely going to get caught by the combo. A nice flip and push from Lawlins, but Sheer is going to get caught a bit out. Neither team is going to fall, but the red team is taking a lot of damage. Malthael even came down a little bit, looking to maybe help a bit with the aggression, but he's going to be rotating back up. Meanwhile, the rest of his team has decided, you know what, we're just gonna step onto this camp. What are you going to do about it? And right now, with a great root from Malfurion, it looks like there isn't going to be much that's done about it. Raynor doing a lot of nice poke over the wall, but Kerrigan jumps over onto him. The camp is claimed, but Lawlins is going in and gets a little bit low. Jobber gets a nice pull onto Sheer, and both teams are really just trading into each other. Sheer chasing a little bit too far, and that is going to be a double kill for the side of the Abba Murky cult. They're almost up an entire level at this point. And they've got a pretty nice wave pushing in here with the Jaina backing. That's going to take a while to clear, and it's going to get a bit of damage. Also, they're going to be able to get their Bruiser camp out. Well, it looks like on the side of the zombie Eradication squad, they are taking a little bit longer. They are going to be maybe a little bit behind. It looks like not too much. We do have the blue team already taking the aggressive position on the Immortal. They want to start racing it down, get the halftime show as soon as possible. On this map, I've generally found that because of the low death timers in the early game, if you're able to win the halftime show, you're pretty much just guaranteed to win the Immortal. Unless the other team plays exceptionally well. They already know it's going to be repositioning to here. Got Malthael clearing out the top lane, but the red team is going to try and defend it a little bit. See the retreat pings coming out, they're going to wait. They know Malthael's clearing, they don't want to take a 4v5, especially under the Immortal. But I expect as soon as they see that Raynor is split off to start racing, that they're going to come. If they do, they're going to look for a little bit of race of their own. Hellfire taking a little bit of poke, but without Raynor there, they're not able to do too much. Looking for the aggression now, we've got our first 5-on-5 team fight. Sonya's going to go ahead and get rooted, but it looks like the Abba Murky cult is going to be able to force back the red team in the zombie Eradication squad and claim a pretty hefty shielded first Immortal. This Immortal sometimes goes pretty far, but normally you don't quite see it take the fort unless you get a shield quite this big, and we do see a nice stun followed up by the root onto Sheer. He's able to walk away thanks to help from Diablo and Anna there. But again, it looks like the rotations here, the game plan, the communication is a little bit better here on the side of the Abba Murky cult. Another nice pull and stun and root onto Sheer. The wall is going to protect him so that he isn't going to be taking too much damage, but that is delaying the race, and the Immortal is staying in its ranged form here. which it will stay in until this shield runs out, and that's allowing it to get a lot more push into this fort. You can see a bit of a hard time for Jaina to reach it, as her range isn't quite that long. Nice shadow charge from Lawlens. He's going to get out of there and dodge the Kerrigan combo, but the fort is going to go down, and there's about a level lead for the blue team. We do see, as you would expect on this map, the Q build here for Vala. She's going to be using that to get Immortal Race. And they're actually pushing a little bit more. They're going to get one tower on this keep wall, it looks like. Yep. That's quite a lot from the first Immortal. Really impressive job here from the Abba Murky Colt. As we do see the continuing of trading in the off lane. Blue team going to go ahead and look for this camp. Well, the red team looks like they're going to rotate their solo laner top and have their 4-man comeback bottom again. I'll be interested to see, though, if the blue team, and it looks like they are, they're going to try and push this in. They're saying, you know what, it might be the early game, but if we're going to get a keep wall from this, we'll get a keep wall. You can have the siege camp down there, but we're going to force you to Hearth, as you already see from the red team. They're pushing in super hard with this camp. But it looks like they're going to just take the mid gate. They knew that the enemy team was hearthing, so they were able to just kind of accept what they were able to get there, back away. They're going to probably wait now for the level 10 advantage, which is coming to them in just a couple minion waves. And now the main goal has to be for the red team to also hit that level 10, because going into the second Immortal phase, if you're down level 10s, as the timer starts now, you're in a really bad spot to try and win that. And level 10s just came in for the side of the Abba Murky Colt. We see Divine, Hurricane, Ultralisk, Rain of Vengeance, Last Rites, Malfurion currently holding, but he's going to go for the Twilight Dream. Up in a little bit there. But it looks like the red team just going to settle for taking their camp for the moment, while the blue team does the same. The Immortals are spawning, and with this level 10 advantage, as well as superior race and getting to the objective a lot earlier, it's going to be a free halftime show for the blue team. Kerrigan opting for a bit more of a Ravage build here, going for Sharpened Blades, as well as, I believe that's the Bladed Momentum. Yes, it is. She's going to be looking to really just jump around, do as much damage as she can. The red team just trying to get in what race they can while avoiding a fight because of the fact that they're down ultimate abilities, but it's going to be a very heavily, almost full shielded Immortal. It's Kerrigan, positioned a little bit aggressively, but wisely chose not to engage without her team, as we have Malthael up in the top lane, clearing out the Bruiser camp. So it is going to be a 4v5 defense, but again, the race down on this Immortal is not super strong. We have level 10s for the blue team. We're going to see Water Elemental Leap, Apocalypse, a blow up onto Malfurion, Hyperion, and the Water... No, I think that's it. I think I got them all. Water Elemental for Jaina, if I didn't get that one. But with that leap on the Malfurion, that's a great kill. First in the game for the red team. Able to use the surprise from Sonya, the aggression, the stun, and finally get a kill thanks to the nano boost there. And that's going to save them a lot. We might have even seen something like a keep going down if they weren't able to get that kill. So a really important play there from the side of the Zombie Eradication squad. And Sonya gets right up to clearing the top lane and getting that soak for them. Looks like they're going to go ahead and opt to take this siege camp. Blue team sees that they're on it and are going to trade and go ahead and take the bottom siege camp. So with that kill and the lanes getting pushed out a bit, we did actually see, it looks like the red team has caught up a decent amount in soak, only about a level behind at this point. But again, the blue team is exploiting the fact that they have this advantage of both forts being down. They're saying, you can't push because if you try, we will just take your structures, and your structures are more in danger here, but a flip over the wall, punishing the aggression, as well as the leap again coming in. Great push back into the towers. It's going to be a double kill onto the Uther and onto the Kerrigan for the side of the Zombie Eradication squad. really executing on punishing the overcommitment from the side of the Murky cult. Really, really important considering how far behind they seemed to get during that early game. They're going to start pushing in, Diablo tanking for a short while, but the minion wave starts coming in. They're just trying and equalize, get a little bit of XP. Diablo looking for a flip on Malthael, but he's going to be able to get out of there fine. Both teams now reaching level 13. Looks like we're just going to see both teams start racing. Go ahead and pull up stats because I realize I have not done it so far this game. Vala currently leading, as you would expect. She is the hyper carry. And Jaina, highest for the red team, but really none quite as high up on the hero damage as Vala. Malthael also executing very strongly. So the halftime show was actually won by the red team. As you can see, they're about 1,400 points ahead right now. So both teams are kind of just sitting, waiting for the other team. It looks like there is a commitment as Malthael is seen, and Hyperion even is going to be used, as well as the Nano Boost. They are heavily committing to try and get this objective. Huge burst onto Hellfire on the Uther, a lot squishier now. Sonya's going to finish him off, but a huge Twilight Dream, as well as the Kerrigan combo is going to result in Raynor going down. Kerrigan is going to use her level 13 talent there, the Chrysalis, to save herself. Last Rites is going to come out and kill Jaina. Double kill, triple kill actually, because Diablo went down as well as the Raynor and Jaina there. A great turnaround after the main tank Uther got killed there. That is something that main tank Uther does really well, is he, after he dies, has his trait and is able to give a lot of value to his team, which allowed them to turn the fight around here and win the third Immortal of the game, albeit with a much smaller shield than the past two that they were able to win. Luckily, death timers are still pretty short, so we are going to see all 5 members of the Zombie Eradication squad up and ready to defend this push. But at this point in the game, the Immortals are getting a lot less forgiving, and I would expect that this could easily result in a keep for the blue team if the defense from the Zombie Eradication squad isn't quite on point. Use the Immortal Stun coming out there, barely catching Sheer. Luckily the wall was still there, so Kerrigan was not quite able to follow up. Water Elemental getting popped. Nano Boost comes out, the leap comes out from Sonya, and just this blow-up comp being executed from the red team extremely well. Always countering the engage there from the blue team. We're going to see Malthael and Uther fall, barely keeping Kerrigan alive, but she's going to get flipped and get caught as well. But only Raynor was left to defend this Immortal, and it did result in the entire keep falling. They needed to leave Jaina or Sonya to also help race that down, because now they are going to be down a keep, and that is a lot of pressure for the rest of the game. It looks like as they're up 3 members, they're going to go ahead and opt to take this Bruiser Camp from the Murky cult. Try and deny that pressure, as they know it'll go into the lane with the constant catapults, and they would not be able to handle that during the next objective phase. That would push very hard, even a bit earlier in the game. That's going to be a bit dangerous to the core. Another nice thing for them is that that's going to allow them to push in and take this fort, help get them a little bit of pressure on the map for themselves finally. It's going to be the first structure down for them in this game. Looking at talents, there are a few interesting ones. Diabolical Momentum was an interesting one I saw from Diablo. He's also going for a Shadow Charge build, but that is something that has popped up a lot more recently. We're going to see the 5-man here for the blue team, including Malthael, sitting in this lane, so the red team is going to wisely back off. Sonya currently soloing the top camp here, so looks like they're going to rotate up to try and help her so that they can potentially push that in to their second fort of the game. But no, the Immortals spawn, and they're going to go ahead and go for their Bruiser Camp instead. That's going to help them balance out the top lane, even maybe push it very hard, although a bit of an early capture in my opinion, but still that's going to help them a lot to kind of mitigate the damage that having the fort down in that lane. Blue team going to go ahead and clear it out, but the red team is using that opportunity to take their position over the objective, and this is something which every previous objective they have struggled with, is they haven't gotten the positioning that they wanted. Hellfire immediately disappears, but it's great follow-up. Sonya looks like she's going to go down. She gets the leap off, but Diablo and Sonya just heavily chunked thanks to the Malthael and the Manticore from the Vala. Lots and lots of percentage damage. Sheer going to get caught by the Kerrigan combo, rooted and killed. Leaning clean on the Jaina, also getting caught, and the aggression here, the armor coming out from Uther as well as the heals as he dies every single time, allowing for a great turnaround when there aren't the defenses here in place for the zombie eradication squad. And with the 30-second death timers, that's looking like wisely. We are going to see the Abba Murky Cult look to finish the first game with just Anna on the defense and 3 catapults coming in. It does look like they are indeed going to take this one, although they are clumping out a decent bit. They do need to be careful not to clump too much. We do see, thanks to the nano boost, Jaina jumped up a ton in damage, but still not quite able to match the Vala. Core is down to 20%, 10%, and despite their best efforts, it's going to be game 1 going over to the Abba Murky Cult. GG. Alright. So that map was, in fact, picked by the Zombie Eradication Squad. So, a map that maybe they prefer, that they felt confident on, and they did execute pretty well on it, but it did seem like they just weren't quite able to keep up with the coordination from the Abba Murky Cult. It showed in the team fights. When they were on the defense, Zombie Eradication squad looked strong because Kerrigan wasn't quite able to get the combos that she wanted, and there were turrets and walls in the way. But as soon as the fights came to the nice open area around them, the combos were getting Uther down, but the rest of the team, Vala and Kerrigan with the armor, even Malthael with the healing from Malfurion, with the silence from the Twilight Dream, they were able to turn around every single fight and really just take out the frontliners and follow up with the backline, which allowed them to consistently get the Immortals and winning first match. We are going to see that the Zombie Eradication Squad is going to opt for first pick for the second game. So in a moment here, we should be getting the map from the Abba Murky Cult, as they're going to look, try and pick the map that will let them 2-0 this team, pick their second win in the go ahead and take a look at the talents here. I will say the red team did do an impressive job. I was really impressed by their defenses, especially considering they were down level 10s and pretty much lost the entire full shield immortal for the second objective phase. I think with a little bit more discipline, perhaps being careful about the Malfurion roots and the Twilight Dreams, they looked realistically able to turn it around potentially for that, and I think that's what we need to look to see in the second game. I think they executed their combos very well, but their combo just came on later than the other team, and it often only got them the one kill. Alright, looks like we do have our map here. It is going to be Dragonshire, picked by the blue team, being the Abba Murky Cult, and I like that. That makes sense. They seem to be much more coordinated of a team. They seem to be able to do longer team fights a bit stronger. They, as soon as the disorder kind of caused by the leap and the nano boost was over, they were able to take over most team fights if they hadn't lost more than just Uther. And I would expect to see that they're going to look to use that coordination to punish a less coordinated play from the side of the Zombie Eradication Squad. Because, as we all know, Dragonshire is a map heavily focused around the discipline and rotations and communication. As we go ahead into the draft here, Game 2 between these teams, it'll be interesting to see what heroes are selected here, if we're going to see some target bans. I know Kerrigan normally only seen on shrines, but since they were willing to go for her on Battlefield, maybe we see her again here. I wouldn't be surprised to see heroes such as Jaina and Raynor on this map again. Both of them just solid really on any map. In fact, even maybe more solid on this map than on Battlefield of Eternity. Jaina not necessarily one of the strongest mages. We're going to go ahead and see an Abathur ban to start off. Maybe a bit of research that I didn't know about there on to the Murky cult. But they don't want to deal with some split push and the constant semi-global presence of his hat, offsetting the offlane, offsetting the 4-man, really just making life hard. And we're going to see a Dahaka ban kind of match that. They're saying, okay, you don't want us to have macro. Well, we don't want you to have a macro advantage either. So they're going to get rid of the global. Dahaka allows you to gank the 5-man. It allows you to do some crazy rotations and really just gain control and always be ahead on the macro game that is between the Moon Shrine and the Sun Shrine. We're going to see the Sylvanas ban, this time coming out from the Zombie Eradication squad. And that makes sense. I mean, lots of teams just consider her to be one of the strongest heroes in the game right now, as well as Johanna, just solid tank overall, easy to execute. They're both going to get bound out. And we have first pick for the side of the Zombie Eradication squad this time. Interested to see. Okay, and they go for a Varian. This is played by Lawlin, so we are expecting to see, I imagine, a taunt Varian here. Lawlins was their tank player last game, but again, very quick pickups here from the blue team. They know exactly what they want going in every game here. Jobber this time going for the Greymane, and Hellfire staying on a support, but last game kind of playing the main tank support, now going into a more backline focused support with the Stukov. And again, we see the Jaina and the Raynor, as I had kind of considered. These heroes are heroes that are just really easy to execute and can bring a ton of value to the game. They might not be the most flashy, and they might not be able to do some kind of more specialized things, but both of them are easy to execute, which makes them really strong for a team that is learning and trying to beat teams that are maybe more skilled than them. We're going to see a Rhaegar ban. Makes sense. He's wonderful on this map because of the ability to take camps, ability to rotate real quick, clear waves, so that, as well as he's able to use his totem to help maybe set up the picks or the taunts for the Varian there. And on the other side, another ETC ban. Again, tank not chosen for the Murky cult yet, so makes sense. ETC is a very strong tank. He's able to disrupt that kind of blow up thanks to his face melt ability. So I like to see that. I think that's a good ban. Really just works in a lot of scenarios. We are going to see the Rexar picked. Makes sense. He is extremely powerful on this map. Many consider him to be ban worthy because of the fact that he has 2 bodies, so you're either soaking or you're on the shrine, but he'll always be doing both, which allows him to basically just win every single solo lane matchup, which is of course very important on this map. Then we also see the Mal'Ganis this time. Creepers played the Malthael last time, swapping onto the main tank. We're going to see Sonya again, and this time Malfurion stolen away. Well, maybe not stolen because the healer was already selected, but taken this time for the side of the Zombie Eradication squad. A very similar composition, looking for similar kind of team fights. Taunt and the Leap able to just grab one person to be blown up by the rest of the team. We are going to see Li Ming for the last pick here on the side of the Murky cult. I think both teams have very solid drafts this game. I think I like the draft of the Zombie Eradication squad about equally as I did last map, but I feel like personally I think the draft here from the Murky cult is a lot stronger than last game was, and they looked insane, especially during the early game last map. So I think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle, especially fighting against that Rexar controlling the top lane, which means half of the objective is always going to be in the blue team's favor. But we'll have to see. Will the Zombie Eradication squad be able to turn it around? Or is this going to go down in a 2-0 in favor of the ABBA Murky Cult?
Heroes, prepare for combat.
Alright. Getting into game number 2 on Dragonshire. For the ABBA Murky Cult, we have Gore Monster on the Li Ming, Magini on the Rexar, Hellfire on the Stukov, Creeper's Bot on Mal'Ganis, and Jobber on the Greymane. Their opponents trying to even it up. Lean and Clean on the Jaina, Sheer on the Raynor, Lawlins on the Varian, the Blatrix on Sonya, and Oreos on Malfurion. It is the Zombie Eradication Squad. I will say the Sylvanas ban kind of maybe doesn't quite make as much sense if they're going to be trying to eradicate zombies here. Seems like maybe that would be something they'd be happy to go against. But we're going to go ahead and see. Teams just squaring up. Sonya again immediately heading up to the off lane as we have a pause. Sonya, and I didn't know that. Oh, I imagine she went train. So, okay. Yeah, as long as they're fine with it, that's fine. Yep. Alright. Looks like we're going to get right back in. Sorry about that. And it looks like the initial wave clear advantage is going to go over to the ABBA Murky Cult. Reaper's trying to sleep the team here, but he's going to take a bunch of damage trying to do that. So a nice orb coming out onto Sheer. Greymane already starting to clear down here. We do see the overpower, so looking into the bit more burst for the taunt variant there, as you would expect. This time Sonya going for the War Paint, more traditional level 1 talent. And Greymane already jumping onto the siege camp for the side of the ABBA Murky Cult. I was about to say Zombie Eradication Squad, but no, that's the other team. Again, I think the camp control in the early game was stronger last game, and again, seems stronger. The rotations in general just seem to be a bit more on point, a bit more coordinated for the side of the ABBA Murky Cult. As we do see Lawlins getting soloed out, silenced, and free level 4, he's going to have a bit of a hard time tanking, but he is going to be able to get away without dying there. Objective coming up, and as you would expect, Magini not really having a hard time winning this lane. Misha's just able to harass so effectively. It looks like opting more for a 1-1-3 approach here for the side of the Zombie Eradication Squad, keeping Jaina mid as Sonya actually takes the point up here. And we have 3-man here from the side of the ABBA Murky Cult fighting off. Lawlins finally has his taunt, might be looking for something here onto Gore Monster. Doesn't end up going for it as Sheer takes a lot of damage from the magic missiles and the orb there. Gonna get healed up right away though thanks to the adrenaline rush. And the Moonfires coming out from Oreos. Nice penetrating round there, a nice taunt. Reapers does have armor though, and the rest of his team is coming in, so he's not going to be worried about it. We do see Magini taking the point back again up top, and very quickly the controls change. So now blue team has potential to channel. They're going to start rotating people up, but I imagine that Lean and Clean will only need to stall this once. She doesn't even need to, because Sonya already on the point for the side of Zombie Eradication Squad. Jaina is getting dived on here by Greymane, but not going to be quite followed up on. Not enough CC to keep her there for Li Ming to land a combo. So, interesting rotations here. Teams kind of brawling it out a little bit. Raynor actually getting caught out a little bit, but the taunt used to peel. Very nice there from the side of Lawlins. Malfurion needing to take a safe rotation because he sees the Li Ming there, and the Li Ming sees him. Jaina is keeping a nice wave clear advantage here for the red team in mid lane, which is something that is nice when you're playing on this map, because that means you're going to constantly have vision over this point. So if the enemy team does manage to get both points, you're able to make sure that they don't channel. But we are going to basically just see the teams electing to swap these back and forth. No one really wanting to commit super hard to a fight. They're actually holding his level 4 still. Interesting. Wonder, I'm not sure exactly what he'd be waiting for. Adrenaline Rush, normally what you would see there, or the Adrenaline Rush upgrade, but he is going to opt for sustaining rounds, looking for the auto attacks to heal him. As I hear the taunt going off, it looks like it was onto Creeper's bot. Blizzard going to get some nice stacks for Jaina. I did fail to mention, Jaina did a really nice job stacking in the last game against this team with all of the aggression from last game. It'll be interesting to see how well she does this game. A nice penetrating round being used to keep Sheer safe from the Mal'Ganis. The sleep is going to land onto Varian. He's going to get hit by a combo from Li Ming, from the silence, from the stuns. He's down to 300 health, but he's barely going to be able to be kept alive by Oreos on the Malfurion. That is kind of the danger, though, going to this comp, and they don't even have a lot of their tools here yet. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we very much have two comps that are able to lock one person down and really blow them up, as we are going to potentially see that happen to Creepers here. But no, both of these tanks really taking a walloping, but neither really able to get an advantage. Interesting to see is the Blatrix looks like solo the camp and is actually doing really well into Magini here in the top lane. They're going to start pushing in. We go ahead and look at the XP. But Rexar actually a good amount ahead of Sonya, a couple hundred there. But Jaina doing a great job keeping up the soak in the mid lane for the red team, as well as keeping Greymane. So really an impressive performance so far here from the Zombie Eradication squad. I think they're doing a much better job communicating with each other here, and we do see the stats kind of reflecting that. A lot more damage for their side compared to last game, where there was an enormous lead thanks to that Vala. We're going to see a taunt coming out on a Jaina here, followed up by the Root that did go for Entangling Vines, I believe it's? Strangling Vines, so close. Going to reduce the healing, that's very nice for the blow up, and Varian is going to be able to channel thanks to the slows and the zoning from Raynor and Jaina, and they're going to get the first Dragon Knight of the game on the side of the Zombie Eradication squad. Immediately looking for the turret, a nice kick onto Greymane there. He's going to be the majority of the blue team's race onto this Immortal. Ultimate abilities coming in for both teams, though. We are going to see from the Mal'Ganis, we're going to see the Carrion Swarm, we're going to see the Wave of Force, the Bestial Wrath, hoping to win fights a bit easier against the Sonya. Go for the Throat, looking to get the squishies, and the Massive Shove. I know the name of that ability. On the other side, we do have the Water Elemental Shield Wall for Varian, looking to keep himself protected as the main tank. Raynor currently holding, potentially looking for the Raider or for Hyperion. Does elect to go for the Raider, going to be a bit more damage. Also a lot of vision control. Nice burst there onto the Greymane. He gets very low, down to 100 health, and is going to get taken out by Sheer on the Raynor. Mal'Ganis using his Carrion Swarm there, maybe unnecessarily, and it is going to end up with him getting taunted and killed as well. That's a 2-0 in the first blood of the game, coming 7.5 minutes in favor of the Zombie Eradication squad, looking a completely different team from last game. Although Sheer takes a huge amount of damage as he got a bit over aggressive maybe there. We're going to see they elect to go for the Bruisers here. I'd like to see Sheer maybe start on the siege camp, try and stack these camps up together, get a nice big push going. But no, they're going to be fine with just protecting this Bruiser camp, making sure that they get that. They are almost to level 13. That is something worth noting. The Bruiser camp is going to get cleared out here. And I believe I didn't touch on this. We had the Tranquility from Malfurion and the Wrath of the Berserker from Sonya. So not quite the same kind of setup. A bit more defensive ults from Sonya and from the healer in Malfurion this time. But they've been executing so well, I don't think they really needed the aggressive ults here. Although, as I say that, Creeper's doing a great job on that particular taunt, zoning out the red team. It's a lot of ults, well, as Water Elemental was used there, and the Massive Shove and Wave of Force were also used defensively there. With the siege camp though, and the level 13 advantage, they're going to start sieging up, and they're looking for the fountain here, going to try and take away the self-sustain for the blue team so that they're not able to keep their team up. Creepers goes for the Carrion Swarm, but barely isn't able to finish the channel, and that is going to be the fountain going down as well as the kill onto Mal'Ganis. Both teams getting their bruiser camps for the top lane here, but Sonya is the one who's standing on the point and is going to be able to get it. Imagine not having as easy as a time into this Sonya as you might expect. Sonya is able to pop Wrath of the Berserker there. And now the blue team is just soaking and having to play it safe. Their fort got down to about half health there, and their siege giants do get stolen. The bush does get scouted out. They need to be careful. A massive shove could put them right into the mid fort. But another person who needs to be careful is Mal'Ganis. He just came back. And again, this blow up comp being executed so well. That is the power of having these really easy heroes to play in Raynor and Jaina, in that they're able to get these crazy blow-ups. It just looks like they're not even trying, and that's because really you don't even need to. You kind of press all your buttons and the person dies. That being said, blue team is going to have to be careful here, as the red team can probably push up and take this fort even without the Dragon Knight, but they are going to look for the Dragon Knight. Clean and clean, already ready to channel. Stukov gets caught by the root, but Lalan's not quite in position to catch it, to follow it up. We are going to see the second Dragon Knight of the game going in favor of the zombie eradication squad. As the fort does fall to a few minions down here, they're going to be pushing into the mid lane, looking to make it a 2-fort advantage. Wait, make it a 3-fort advantage. Sonya with the bruiser camp managed to do massive work there in the top lane, and all forts are going to be down for the blue team here, as we see level 16 talents coming in for the zombie eradication squad. And that brings Banner of Ironforge, going to make blow-ups and kills so much harder for Li Ming. We see Northern Exposure. That's armor reduction. These blow-ups are going to be even more fatal from the side of the zombie eradication squad. It seems like really their game plan to just find one person and kill them has been working out, and they're building their heroes to make it work out even more. Varian gets pushed out by the massive shove there. Carrion Swarm already used by Mal'Ganis. He's going to get caught by the Ancient Spear and taken down there. Sonya going for the Mystical Spear, giving her a bit more pulls and a bit more mobility during these team fights. And they're pushing in for the keep front wall already as a 5-man, enabled by Raynor's Raider, able to take some shots as well as some minions there. They're going to get the full front wall. Going to have to back off though, as their minion wave is gone, and thanks to the massive shove and some good play from the blue team, a lot of damage did get put onto the members of the red team. They're going to start taking camps immediately though, and look for what I was hoping that we would see from them a little bit earlier, but is still great to see now. They're going to look for some damage onto this keep, potentially thanks to a stacking of this bruiser camp with this siege giant camp. It's going to give them spell armor if they elect to push with it, although they perhaps sense that the blue team looking for a gank here onto the Sonya. But Sonya, I think, knows, and she's going to play it safe, not in any danger, and that's going to give the siege camp to the red team. And this is a flashback to last game when the blue team was saying, hey, you can push for a fort, but we're going to take your keep. Because now, this is an enormous push. One of the main win conditions on this map is getting these siege giants with this bruiser camp. Even with the Sonya kill, the backs are coming out and the keep is gone. It's too late. That is an enormous amount of pressure. The Sonya kill did, of course, help. I think I might have liked to see the Sonya try and rotate down to help the team. She wasn't going to be able to defend up there. But regardless, the red team is stuck defending their bottom lane for now and will be pushed back in that lane very largely thanks to the constant catapult pressure that comes out due to the keep being down. And the Bruiser camp being taken to push out the top lane here while they wait for Sonya to respawn on the side of the zombie eradication squad. Bush is going to be guarded here, but not quite enough damage without the Raynor to secure a kill, as Raynor was in the top lane trying to take that point from Maginine, not going to be able to keep it for long though. Lawland's in a little bit of danger here thanks to the Tranquility. He is going to get that armor, which will help him out a lot in staying alive. Now, they aren't quite at level 20, but they are up about a full level, and it's a blow up onto Mal'Ganis and onto Rexxar. That's both of the front line getting caught by the root. The healing reduction stopping Stukov from getting the nice bursts of healing onto them that he would like to. Great bursts all game coming out from Oreos, or great roots coming out all game from Oreos, really enabling the team to finish these kills onto heroes that traditionally are seen as extremely bulky, at least on the side of Mal'Ganis. And this is a 15-minute Dragonite with both the frontliners down. It looks like this may be the game. Raynor not going to get caught by Greymane here. But with level 20s coming in, this is going to be a hard defense, even with Mal'Ganis and Rexxar coming up in a few seconds here. As the Dragonite and Raynor are already onto the core, without taking really any damage. Core dropping insanely fast. It's down to 50%, falling even faster, and the blue team is just falling. Hellfire barely getting out with 30 health, but it doesn't matter because the core is down, and that is going to be the game. GG. Alright. Great play there. Really just turning it around and showing that first game was a bit of a fluke. The aggression in the first game was able to shut down the blow-ups in the early game, but they said, hey, you know what? You know what gives us a stronger early game for blow-ups? Varian, because the taunt comes online at 4, and they executed it so well. Mal'Ganis falling 5 times during that game. That is a ridiculous amount of deaths to see on a frontliner, especially one who was normally considered just so bulky. Alright. As well as, of course, I think I had to mention it during the match, and I have to mention it again. Oreos was following it up so impeccably with the roots, even setting up some of them with just great roots. His positioning not really punished too much because Mal'Ganis, while he does have powerful engage, it isn't the fastest engage, not really able to snap onto the Malfurion. Malfurion was able to be aggressive, drop the roots, help set up for the kills thanks to the healing reduction. Because Stukov really only gets 1 burst of healing, so if that gets denied, he's not able to do much. We are going to see that the blue team, the Murky cult, is going to... The Murky cult is going to decide in favor of the map pick. We should hopefully be getting into that lobby in a moment here, so see which map that is. But I'll be interested to see what goes down. It seems like when it came to the skirmishing, while the rotations were a little bit behind, it was the zombie eradication squad that was getting ahead during that map. And this is another map where I could very much see it coming down to who's able to do better in the skirmishes. But honestly, I'm just happy. We're in game 3. We're on Towers of Doom. Wonderful map for comebacks, for final games. It is such an intense map because everything matters. Macro matters. Skirmishing matters. Rotations matter. Honestly, every player will have to and will have opportunity to really pop off and flex their stuff on this map. That's why a lot of people, I think, love being able to watch it. Maybe a bit less so to play, but it'll be fun. I'm excited. We should hopefully be getting started in that in just a moment. The one thing I would look to see is I think we're going to see a bit more aggression here from the blue team. It worked out for them in the first game, and lacking a bit of that snap blow up that the Kerrigan gave them in the first game, and even the Rain of Vengeance from Vala gave them. Lacking that really hurt them during game number 2, as the red team, the zombie eradication squad, did have that and was able to execute it extremely well. I'd like to see some bans. I think we see Jaina banned, maybe we see Raynor banned. First pick is in favor here of the red team. It'll be interesting to see what they go for, assuming some of their picks are probably going to get denied here. They did play very similar comps in game 1 and 2, only the healer and the main tank being changed out. So I'd like to see that responded to a bit. Deny some of the things that worked really well. But we are going to see the Abathur ban. Not unexpected if Abathur was going to get banned. I guess it was banned from the red side on Dragonshire, so makes sense though. Blue team banning out the Abathur. He is extraordinarily powerful on this map, able to do so much. We're going to see the Greymane and Li Ming from the last game being respected with bans here. They were doing pretty well, and we are going to see the Raynor ban. That is something I like to see. Raynor's such an easy and safe hero. He's able to protect himself with the adrenaline rush. Taking that away is going to force Sheer to show that he can do more on other heroes. But the first pick is going to be coming now. And it's going to be the Johanna for Lawlins, which was banned on the past 2 maps. I swear I speak this language. Hellfire going right back to the Uther from game 1, as well as Magini going back to the Malfurion. So again, exactly what I was hoping to see from them. If they're looking to take this map, they need to go back to what worked for them. That was the Uther, that was the Malfurion. Double support, keeping them alive through the burst here. Although it'll be interesting to see what they do to try and keep up in the rotations and the macro that Johanna gives her team. And I would expect we maybe see the Jaina here again, yep, as well as the Ana. Makes sense. Ana with the nano boost is still able to deliver on the blow-ups, and is pretty strong for the team in general. Gives you good sustain for those skirmishes, gives you a little bit of poke or long-range stall for the objective. Now what ban do we see? Do we see the Sonya ban, denying the strong pick from the past 2 games? And we do. I like what the Abba Murky cult is doing here. They're saying, you showed that you're comfortable with this, that you're strong with this. We're going to take it away. Show us that you're strong with something else. And the same being said from the other side, with the Greymane and the Li Ming and the Vala, all damage dealers, which were executed at least pretty well in the past few games, getting denied here. Especially the Vala had put in an enormous amount of work in putting in so much damage, completely outperforming all of the others. And we are going to see the Kerrigan again. That's something that I honestly, I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling. I definitely had a feeling, and I think I like to see that. It'll give them the aggression that they really want, and the lockdown, really able to just snap, engage, and pull back the squishier enemies. We're going to see Dahaka and Lunara coming in here in favor, or in order in order to fill in those slots that were missing. But the Zool, that's how they're going to respond to the rotations and the macro presence that are provided by Dahaka, by Johanna, by Jaina. The Zool, a hero who is able to double soak extremely well, but is also very susceptible to ganks. So we'll have to see how it works for these teams, who's going to come out on top in the victor of this very close series. Game 3, Doom. Alright. I like these comps. Both comps are pretty powerful. I will say, while I think again the burden of execution is more on the blue team, I think their rotations, being able to get advantage there, I think that might be enough to do it for them, and they might be able to come out on top on this third map. As we are going to see for the side of that blue team, the Abba Murky Cult, Magini on the Malfurion Creepers, Bot on the Zool, Jobber on the Kerrigan, Hellfire on the Uther, and Gore Monster on the Kael'thas. Representing the red team, the Zombie Eradication Squad, is Oreos on Anna, the Blatrix on Dahaka, Clean and Clean on Jaina, Lawlins on Johanna, and Sheer on the Lunara. We are going to see, it looks like, Zool hovering, ready to go straight into the off lane, but this time Dahaka actually sticking around, maybe looking for a drag to try and get a pick early on in this game. And he is going to get a nice drag onto Uther, followed up pretty well, but not quite going to be able to finish the kill, as a huge stun and firebomb spread is going to get Oreos and Leaning Clean both low. Everyone's going to walk out nice and fine though, as really the Kerrigan showing right then exactly why I think it was so powerful in the first game. The counter engage that it gave with the armor from Uther was just completely destructive, especially since when it catches those multiple members, the Kael'thas firebombs in this game, they're gonna hurt. Again, we are gonna see the auto attacks style from Uther here, not something that you really see a lot. As well as, interestingly enough, the Enduring Swarm from Dahaka, looking to have some spell armor. That is a talent which I think can be very powerful, and it makes sense into this team. Kerrigan and... oh, we have a nice gank onto creepers, and exactly the weakness of Zool, which I was talking about there. He's very susceptible to ganks. He gets ganked right there. And with that, they're looking for a rotation onto this. They already had the Wisp in the bush. They knew it was going to get taken. They're saying, hey, what are you going to do? One of your members is dead. Gore Monster gets super low. Going to get finished off there thanks to the flashlight even from Johanna. That's a early invade and early steal. That's not something that you want to have with a Kerrigan team. Kerrigan is all about getting that momentum as these sappers go in, already taking down a turret. And of course, the bottom lane being focused on here because of the fact that on this map, the bottom lane is king. It defends both this altar and this altar, which are the two neutral objectives, as well as the fact that there's two sapper camps which can be pushed through. And when they reach the death zone at either end, they will be fired off to give points, which means this lane has insanely high potential for control over who gets the core points on this game. Red team gonna have to rotate to help Dahaka out a little bit. He's not quite able to double soak as effectively as the Zool there. As I imagine we will already see from the XP. Yes, he's a couple hundred behind the Zool, even though the Zool did get picked early there. Lunara face checking the bush, and that is going to be the end of her. Unfortunate there from Sheer, as Lunara is going to get taken down, but looking potentially with Lean and Clean up top to interrupt and try and steal the objective up here. So maybe not even too worried about trying to commit. But I like to see this from the Abba Murky Cult. They're saying, you know what, early objectives on this map aren't too impactful. You'll get a couple points lead, but if we can even up the siege damage here, maybe even get a little bit ahead, that will let us get ahead in the late game and really start a nice snowball at the end of the day. So both teams making some good decisions, making some decisions that are not as good, but looking good to be a nice even game. I'll be excited to see how those late game team fights, especially come, or even the mid game team fights come level 10, see how they shake up. We do have the red team all convening mid, help Dahaka to keep up in the clear. A little bit of push going to be coming in here. Gore Monster maybe even caught out a little bit. He stops to mount up, but Lawlins is being super aggressive with the positioning on the Johanna, thanks to the fact that they're able to pop their trait and walk out They've got Laws of Hope at level 1 actually, so not going to have quite a big shield or unstoppable, but it was still up and able to help them to just walk out of it. But again, we're going to see as soon as they leave this lane, the blue team's willing to push it in a little bit and slowly chisel away. So their rotation is being met. Lalan's coming in, although Lean and Clean gets pulled in by Kerrigan, gets bursted down, despite Hellfire getting chunked pretty low and falling actually. It's gonna be a 1-for-1, potentially 2-for-1, as Lalan's now taking a bunch of damage, gets pulled back and gets hit by the firebomb, which is going to finish them off. He's having to stay a bit too long thanks to the fact that Uther is able to give the armor there to himself and to his teammates, making it hard to secure the kill. And now the blue team is saying, you know what, you're not going to invade, and even if you do, we don't care because we're going to start pushing in here. Only Ana here to defend, but she's not really going to be able to do anything. Reapers again getting zoned out, and this is going to be another 4 points in favor of the red team, the zombie eradication squad, but at some point they need to start defending their fort down here, as it is already getting quite low, down to below half. Looks like they're going to be trying for another kill onto Hellfire, but this didn't turn out well for them in the first game when they tried this, and it looks like it isn't turning out super well here, although they are going to finish... No, it's Malfurion who gets finished off. I'm wrong. Malfurion gets caught out, the Divine Storm trying to peel, but Dahaka doing a great job coming in with the global, and even though Zul did get the root on him before he came in, as you saw him get rooted there, he was able to help to get the pick there, and even down level 10s, they're going to get a kill and try and get a bit more control in the bottom lane as they invade this sapper camp. Like to see them also make sure that they escort that in. They're kind of sitting in a bush right now, although I wouldn't expect sappers? Sappers? Alright, a little bit of a pathing bug there from some of the sappers. Unfortunate for the red team. That definitely would have been this wall destroyed and maybe a bit of damage onto the bottom turret. But they are still going to be able to steal it away and still get their own, so that's value for them. Popping Water Elemental, popping Blessed Shield. They're jumping in here. They're saying, you might have the Twilight Dream, but we got the engage that we wanted. We have the Nano Boost. Kerrigan can't do anything. But maybe the Pyroblast from Kael'thas can, as it's chasing Sheer. It's not level 13, so he does not have the spell armor. He's going to go down. But that is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the red team. Sorry, had to hold back a sneeze there. So ults did come in. We see Water Elemental, we see Blessed Shield, we see Nano Boost, we see Isolation and Leaping Strike, all the normal ults that you would expect. On the other side, we have the Poison Nova, trying to stop some of the ganks or punish the ganks there. The Pyroblast, the Twilight Dream, the Ultralisk again, and Divine Hurricane. Speaking of ganks, onto Zul. He needs to be careful as the blue team is coming in here. Looks like they're not going to opt to try and kill him just yet, although he is rotating back down, it looks like. Looking to help his team as they're pushing in, and I think no matter what the red team does here, this is going to be a fort in favor of the Abba Murky cult unless they don't commit to it, instead trying to get a kill onto Johanna, but she is still that bulky, powerful frontliner, and even without Dahaka, the Nano Boost is allowing them to get what looks like it's going to be a triple kill here onto Zul, onto Uther, and onto Malfurion. Barely keeping their fort alive, and that is going to have such a huge impact on this game, as now Johanna tanking it as Sheer and Lean and Clean making quick work of this fort, and that is going to be the advantage instead in favor of the red team. I think the blue team really needed to just finish the fort and then run away. Going for a kill on Johanna can work, but it's really difficult, and when you're in such a compromising position like that under a fort, you need to make sure that you're finishing it off first. They are going to come back up though, and thanks to the corridor, a ton of damage is going to come out from Zul. Uther going to be the first to fall though. But Jaina following shortly after. The cleaves from Zul, healing him a ton. The armor coming out from Uther onto him, helping out a lot. And it's going to end up being a 2-for-1 trade, potentially more, as Dahaka caught a little bit out of place. Does have the spell armor, which is going to help a lot, but I don't think they're going to be able to get out. Looking for a drag, though, and suddenly the turnaround, and Kael'thas and Malfurion go down. These team fights going completely the opposite of how I might have expected them to. Sheer now hitting creepers. He's going to try and walk away, but Dahaka's there, ready to meet him. Will he land the drag? He does, and that is another kill. 13 kills to 6 now in favor of the zombie eradication squad, doing a great job at eradicating Zul and his undead pals. But we do see, as the objective was channeled and the kills were chased, that the bottom fort was taken back for the blue team, and now we're going to see what looks like the blue team maybe... Nope, they're not going to force it. They saw that the camp was taken, and being a little bit more conservative this time, making sure that they aren't going to get caught with their pants down, as with the last time that they tried that maneuver. But it looks like maybe it won't matter, as Hellfire gets caught super hard, and the water elemental slowing him down, and he's going to fall no matter, or despite the attempts there from the Malfurion. The Sapper camp now coming in for the red team, although they're kind of just letting Jobber walk up and clear it a little bit, but it is going to go in. It looks like thanks to once again another kill onto the Uther, this is going to be yet another capture onto the bottom fort, and it is looking really good for the zombie eradication squad, especially if they get yet another gank onto creepers here. And he can use his ult, but I hate to break it to you, it's not going to save you. The Zul constantly getting punished. Really, the rotation game from game 1 to now, it is completely turned around. Zombie eradication squad looking so clean, taking yet another fort. The blue team right now really just desperate to try and keep their hopes alive, because now with really even without that, but with these 6 forts in favor, if all 3 of these are captured by the red team, this is going to be game over, and Dahaka is getting both of the top objectives. With the nano boost and the kill onto Uther, this is looking like we might potentially be game, and Anna is channeling, and indeed it is. That is going to be game in favor of the zombie eradication squad. GG. We're gonna pull up the match summary, and I'll go ahead and try and contact our other team here. We did see the Zul actually putting out the most hero damage for the blue team. I thought the Kerrigan and Kael'thas were going to be able to put in a lot more work, to be honest. But with the Uther falling so frequently, it was so hard for them to get the kills. Malfurion falling a lot too, and with both the supports dying so much, as well as the front line, it really allowed for the zombie eradication squad with the nano boost onto Jaina to really just snowball that game. And they took a commanding lead early in points, and that was because the blue team was willing to trade it for structure damage, but we saw that bottom right fort stay at just a couple hundred HP for a long time. And I really think that was the fatal mistake there. They were willing to give up, I believe it was 8 points there on their core, a fifth of its total health. They needed to get the fort for it. Alright, looking for an interview now with one of the winning members. We'll have to see if one of them hops in.
What's up?
Hey, how are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. That was a very exciting series between you guys. You've got to be feeling great. That was a nice
Can the
little
team
reverse
come
sweep
in?
you've got going. Oh, for sure.
Everyone get in the interview room. Let me just a sec.
All right. We're gonna give them a second to get the team in here. They can all talk to me about the match.
I let them know.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and we can get started with a few questions, and if they're able to pop in, then they can add in as they come. So, starting with the first game, that was Battlefield of Eternity. That was the game that you guys lost. What do you think was the thing that went wrong for that game with you?
As a team?
As a team, as the map went, just what were your thoughts at the end of that game, and what were your thoughts going into game 2, I guess?
Like, we had two people trying to shot call. So that was getting pretty confusing. So then the next game I said, let me shot call, then that way, we're not like headbutting.
Right. So going into game 2, so on the first map, something that I kind of noticed is I felt like the rotations for the blue team were, or the blue team being the Murky cult, so the team you were against, I noticed they were rotating really well, and going into Dragonshire, that is a very rotation-based map. So you guys cleaned it up a lot, but you played a lot around ganks. And do you think that was really the main factor, was you weren't able to really gank because you were constantly 4-on-4? Or what do you think was the turning point for the second game?
Well, the second game, I was making sure we weren't losing soak. And we were getting camps when we could. But the biggest one was when we got the gank and then we got the Dragon Knight. And we were able to get some value off it.
Definitely. There was a long period of time where there was no kills and no Dragon Knight, and then you were able to pick up the first 2 kills in the Dragon Knight. That definitely helped you guys a lot. Kind of snowballing that map.
Exactly.
So, as a team, obviously, all 3 games you had a very, very consistent drafting plan. So, when it came to the third game and they banned out the Sonya and they banned out the Raynor, how are you feeling? Were you comfortable? Were you already ready to back up onto your secondary picks, or was that something a bit new for you guys?
I think we were ready. We have our roles like planned out, so that way they know what they're going to be doing. Like Blatrix, he's our solo lane. I'm a flex DPS, and Cody's another flex DPS.
All right. Well, you guys played excellently tonight. Before I let you go ahead and do some shout-outs or whatever you want to say, I gotta ask, and I ask this at the end of every cast. So if you had to give an MVP to any player throughout the series, it could be yourself, it could be someone on the enemy team, who would you give the MVP to?
Oreos for the awesome heals.
Definitely. I noticed, especially game 2, I was expecting the taunt variant to be being really aggressive and setting up a lot, but Oreos was really setting up a lot of the kills there and getting a lot of the roots to set those up, and that was excellent. So the floor is yours. If you have any shout outs, anything you want to say before we head off.
Well, thank you guys very much. We're learning a lot as a team, that's for sure. Our first match was meh. But yeah, we're learning a lot very quickly, and I'm proud of everyone. Let's keep it up.
Definitely. Those were some excellent games. Thanks for having me as your caster. Have a great night.
Thank you. You as well.
Alright, so that's the end of our cast for tonight. I don't have any other matches lined up. Probably going to go ahead and play a little bit of Storm League for myself. Try and emulate some of the great play that we saw there. But thank you, everyone who came out, people who were in chat. Thanks for all the new followers who came, people coming in. And we have another cast coming tomorrow, so I'd love to see some of you guys there. But that's all I got for now, and I will catch you all in a little bit. Thanks for watching.